I had always imagined what my son's wedding day would look like. After raising him alone for more than 2 decades, sacrificing every ounce of energy and pride I had, I believed that moment would be my reward. I pictured myself standing tall, finally seeing him step into the life I always wanted to have, the kind of life I could never provide. But I never imagined that the very moment I had dreamed would turn into one of the most humiliating and heart-wrenching experiences of my life. When the invitation arrived weeks before, embossed in gold with swirling cursive letters, I felt an almost childlike excitement. The union of Michael Carter and Sophia Bennett. It read. Sophia's family name was one I knew well. It belonged to one of the wealthiest families in the city. From the little I had heard, she was kind, intelligent, and gentle. That gave me some comfort. I thought maybe, just maybe, Michael had found a partner who would love him as much as I did. On the morning of the wedding, I stood in front of the mirror in a suit I had saved for months to rent. My hands trembled as I tied the tie, not because I wasn't used to dressing up, but because this day meant everything to me. My wife had passed when Michael was only 6. From that moment on, I became both father and mother, protector and provider. I worked long nights in factories, scrubbing machines until my skin cracked, and took every odd job I could find. Michael never knew how many meals I skipped, so he could eat. I kept the pain and exhaustion hidden, because all I wanted was for him to feel normal. Today, I thought all that sacrifice would finally be worth it. The wedding hall sparkled with chandeliers, crystal glasses, and white roses everywhere. Waiters in crisp black uniforms carried trays of champagne. Everyone looked polished and perfect, their laughter echoing against the marble walls. For a moment, I hesitated at the entrance, wondering if I truly belonged. Then I reminded myself, I had earned this. I wasn't just a guest. I was the father of the groom. When I approached the guest table to find my seat, I noticed something odd. The polished gold nameplates had each guest's name engraved beautifully. I found mine, but instead of simply reading Mr. Carter or Father the Groom, my plate bore cruel, jagged words that cut straight through me. Charity case by obligation. For a moment, I thought it was a mistake. Maybe it wasn't mine. Maybe someone had made an error. But as I looked around, I realized it wasn't. People had already noticed. I could hear the whispers, the chuckles bubbling into outright laughter. Then, like a cruel wave, the bride's side of the family burst into laughter, so loud it filled the hall. One of her uncles smirked and said loudly enough for me to hear, "Guess even beggars get invited if they're related." Another chimed in, "Don't worry, he's here by obligation, not by merit." The words stabbed deeper than any blade could. My cheeks burned with shame as I tried to steady my breathing. The humiliation clung to me, suffocating, making every second unbearable. I wanted to vanish into the ground. I stood frozen, debating whether to fight the humiliation with anger or to shrink away quietly. My instinct told me to walk out, to never let them see me cry. Slowly, I turned to leave, fighting back tears, my heart breaking in ways I didn't think possible. After everything I had given, after every sleepless night, every scar and every sacrifice, this is how I was seen, reduced to nothing but a joke, a pity, an obligation. But just as I reached the door, I felt a strong hand grip my arm. It was Michael, my son. His eyes burned, not with shame, but with fury. His jaw was tight, his face pale. In that moment, I saw the boy I raised, the man he had become. "Dad," he said firmly, his voice trembling with emotion, but strong enough to silence the laughter around us. "We're leaving. Now." The room went quiet. Every laugh, every whisper died instantly. Sophia's family stared, stunned. "Michael," Sophia's father started, trying to soften his tone. "Don't overreact. It was just a little joke." But Michael's eyes didn't move from mine. "A joke?" he repeated, his voice shaking with disgust. "This man," he pointed at me, his voice rising, "is the only reason I'm standing here today. He worked himself to the bone, gave up everything, and you dare disrespect him? Without him, there wouldn't even be a wedding. If you can't honor my father, you don't deserve me either." Gasps filled the room. Sophia herself looked torn, her face pale, her lips trembling as if she wanted to speak, but couldn't find the words. Her family shifted uncomfortably, but no one dared to laugh anymore. I whispered to Michael, my throat tight, "Son, don't ruin your happiness for me." But he shook his head fiercely. "Dad, you are my happiness. If they can't respect you, I won't let them become my family. I'd rather walk away than let them humiliate the man who gave me everything." I couldn't stop the tears anymore. They fell freely as I watched him, my boy, defend me with a pride I thought had been stripped away minutes before. The hall was silent as we walked out together. Each step away from that glittering cruelty felt like a step toward dignity. Outside, under the cool evening air, Michael finally exhaled. He looked at me, his eyes softened now, and said, "I don't need their money, Dad. I don't need their approval. All I need is the family I already have. You." For the first time that day, I smiled. A real smile. Yes, I had been humiliated. Yes, I had been torn down. But in the same breath, I had gained something far greater. Proof that I had raised a man with courage, loyalty, and love. That night, we sat together in our small home, the wedding suit still on my shoulders and his tie undone. We ate takeout from the local diner, laughing through tears. It wasn't the grand feast I thought I would attend, but it was real, it was ours, and it was filled with respect. And in that quiet, imperfect moment, I realized something. The world might see me as a charity case, as an obligation, as someone small. But to my son, the man I raised through blood, sweat, and endless sacrifice, I was everything. And that was enough.